Fascinating investigative report out today by the New York reads like a Hollywood action MO. The headline: How a top-secret SEAL Team 6M at North Korea fell apart. Now, this operation, according to the Times, took place ahead of this 201 summit between President Trump and Kim Jong Un. And it had one major objective: to plant a high-tech electronic device on North Korea and try to intercept Kim Jong Un's communications. It was incredibly risky. The stakes were very high considering how volatile the regime in North Korea is and their nuclear capabilities. Things definitely did not go as unarmed North Koreans were killed, and the mission has never been on until now, according to the New York Times. President Trump approved the training for the op and gave approval to undertake it late today. He was asked about it in the OVA. There's some new reporting on North Korea and this Navy SEAL incident. And two, can you say if the administration has engaged with North Korea on that incident since it happened recently? And then can you share? I don't know anything about it. No, I'd have to. I could look, but I know nothing. Can you confirm that it happened? I'm joined now by one of the reporters on the byline, David Phillips, national correspondent for the New York Times. David, incredible reporting on T. Can you just walk us through the overall step-by-step of the mission, how it went wrong? Because obviously the planning was intricate and involving a huge submarine that got very close in North Korean waters to shore and then actually sending SEALs onto the land. Yeah. My colleague Matthew Cole and I uncovered this. Basically, the plan was to send a massive and powered submarine about 2 football fields, one right up to the North Korean and then released to many south. And those are about the size of like a killer whale. And those would go almost to there. They'd released a small team of Navy SEALs who would swim to the shore and plant this electronic listening device. Now, the SEALs expected to get in and out unseen. And that was critical because, if they got caught, that could spark a hostage situation or escalating tensions with, like you said, a nuclear power or a nuclear-armed adversary. So they expected to get in and out unseen. But what they didn't notice is, as they were on their way to the shore, a very small fishy or open-hulled boat came into the SEALs at the shore only noticed when they were on land, almost that this boat was there. The boat seemed to be right on of where they had parked there, many SUVs, and they were really in a tight at that point, because if these boats discovered their SUVs and called in authorities, they might not get out. And so the SEALs, who had not the device, made a quick decision to shoot everybody on the boat, and that's what they did. Our sources say it was 2 or 3 p.m. Now the SEALs then swam to the B to make sure everyone was dead. And there they found that these weren't security force. They didn't find any guns or uni to suggest that. What they found is that these were probably just locals out fishing, trying to get something to eat. Who'd been caught up in this, really top secret mission that they knew nothing of. They dispose of the bodies, and they actually puncturing to make sure that they didn't float to the 2 so that they sank. They were able to get out. The SEALs were able to get out and then, according to reporting, North Korean military assets kind of swarmed the area soon after they left. But they got away safely. Did the North Korean government ever say anything about this? The North Korean government has never said anything that we can find publicly or through diplomatic that we know of. Now, they did seem to know that something had happened there because, as you said, there was an increase in military activity right there, right after this op. Right. What did they know? That these people have been killed by SEALs or what the SEALs were there to do? That's not clear to us, and I'm not sure that's clear to the US government. Yeah. You pointing out the bullets were untraceable. The guns were untraceable. Apparently, allegedly could figure out where their origin would be. Or at least that was the plan. It's one of the details just struck me, and it seems like a nightmare. I mean, it shows the skill of and the bravery. They were underwater in these that were actually filled with very cold water. Water at about 40 degrees. And they had to stay in these that were full of, a very cold water 2 hours on their way to the SI, right? It's cold, it's dark, you're cramped together, you're breathing through, a scuba mouthpiece, just like you would be if you're surrounded by water. There's no dry in there. And that's part of what was a very complicated and difficult mission. And so, one of the things we really focused on in the story is this is all risk-free. The United States wanted to have a better understanding of the thinking of Kim Jong Un and his officials. They had this chance to plant this device. But then you have to think of here's a difficult mission. And the costs of a potential FAI are vast. Now, President Trump was in charge of make that decision, ultimately decided to go forward, and according to reporting, you were reporting he personally approved it and did without notifying key members of Congress at the time, just made it clear that it didn't just casually publish the story. You withheld some sensitive info. Can you explain to people why your sources felt it was important to talk to you about this? The most important thing is accountability. The SEALs have this Superman type of reputation in our culture. And a lot of that's deserved. They've done some really important difficult missions, but there's a lot of failures that are classified that nobody ever learns about, including policymakers. And so someone like President Trump or Congress or a president may think, I can rely on the SEALs to do this and really not have an idea of their record is. So, not only that, but there are real questions of what influence this had on nuclear negotiations in 2009. There seemed to be real progress happening. After this mission, no more Prague. In fact, the two countries don't really and North Korea's tested more missiles in the last couple years than ever. It's a fascinating account in the New York Times. David Phillips, really appreciate. Thanks very much.